All right, so Saturday night we saw Terence Crawford become a three-way undisputed champion of the world in the boxing ring. Unbelievable. Went out there and just kind of beat Canelo Alvarez very soundly. He was the better boxer, he was the better fighter, and he walked away with all the belts. Now he is being attacked big time because during that ridiculous event, and it was something to behold, Saturday night, it was a full day of combat sports. I watched the UFC note here, that was phenomenal. And then the spectacle that we saw at the Allegiant Stadium was ridiculous. Something like 71,000 people. The walkouts were insane, the mariachi bands and all the rest of it. And then Terence Crawford had the goddamn audacity to walk out to Ilia Topuria's walkout song. I mean, what on earth is going on? How dare he? That is Ilia Topuria's song, okay? Of course, it's not his song. It's just a song. And any fighter can walk out to any song they want. But Ilia Topuria took exception to this in a very big way. And now these two are going back and forth. They are talking shit. And Topuria wants to get in the squared circle with Terence Crawford, with the best boxer of his generation, with an undisputed three-weight division champion. That is correct. And Crawford ain't having none of it. He's like,
who the f*** is that guy?
He's not on my level. He's not on Conor McGregor's level. What the hell is going on? So let's talk about it all. Apparently these two met at the Apex one day. Topuria goes over, shakes his hand, that's about it. Then Saturday night, the fight happens. And then he walks out to the song Canción del Mariachi by Antonio Banderas. I will say this, Topuria's walkout song, and it is, from an MMA perspective, Topuria's walkout song, it is a great walkout song, one of the best ever. It truly is. So I'm not surprised that Crawford chose that. In fact, I was a little surprised, actually. I thought that would be Canelo Alvarez's song, but Crawford chooses that one. Right? It's not what I expected from Terence Crawford. Maybe he did it because it's a Spanish song and somehow that's throwing shade towards a Mexican. I don't know the politics of all that. But it was very strange for Terence Crawford, you know, an African-American, to walk out to this song, which is very Spanish, very Mexican sounding, very mariachi band. I mean, it's called, what is it called again? Canción de Mariachi, okay? Del Mariachi, okay? Strange choice. Anyway, it pissed off Ilia Topuria. So then Ilia Topuria comes out very offended, very annoyed, very worked up. He says, first, Crawford calls me drunk. Then he walks out to my song. As I say, I'm sorry, I've got to side with Crawford on this one. It's anyone's song. Whenever you want, I'll teach you how to dance that mariachi in the ring. And Canelo, I'll save you a round after him. So, of course, you know, listen, we know Topuria is fantastic. He's got great power in the hands. I mean, the knockout that he had over several people, Alexander Volkanovski, of course, last time over Charles do Bronx Oliveira. He's undefeated. Terence Crawford is undefeated. You know, you could say it's a match made in heaven, okay? And a recipe to make an absolute fortune. Two undefeated fighters from different sports. Of course, we've seen this before with Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor, and that made an absolute fortune. It was the money fight, okay? But Topuria went on and said, I won't talk about what would happen between me and Crawford in an octagon. I'll talk about what would happen in a ring. And I would put him to sleep in the first contact. Of course, speaking like a fighter that is undefeated. Speaking like a fighter that is knocking out most people that he comes into contact with, okay? Fair play. And with 4-ounce gloves on, and certainly inside an octagon, there's a very good chance that he would do that to Terence Crawford. But in a boxing ring, it is different. And we just saw the skill and the fight IQ and the footwork and the brilliance and the all-round ringsmanship of Terence Crawford on Saturday night. He went out there and he beat Canelo Alvarez, made Canelo look kind of ordinary. And Canelo's a great fighter, by the way. So this all culminates with Terence Crawford, of course, he's doing the rounds, he's doing interviews, and he was asked about Ilia Topuria. And he was asked about the potential of fighting him, and he was like, why? For what? You know? And he was told, for money by Ariel Helwani. He said, yeah, what about the money? He's like, well, there isn't any money. Yes, there's Conor McGregor who did that with Floyd Mayweather, but Ilia Topuria is nowhere near the level of a Conor McGregor. And to be honest, he's probably right. You know, listen, Ilia Topuria is phenomenal. He is a major star. He is potentially the biggest star in the UFC right now. But the level of fame that Conor McGregor had, and still has, or you could call it infamy, whatever you want, that level that he reached was insane. The world had seen nothing like it, okay? And back then in his prime, Conor McGregor, he was a one-off. I don't think there'll ever be another Conor McGregor. Yes, Ilia Topuria is doing his thing. He's undefeated. He's phenomenal. He's now a 2-weight division champion. Topuria's got the tattoos to match as well, okay? And he's got the same kind of confidence and the same kind of swag. And of course, he speaks Spanish and he speaks Georgian. He is Georgian. But is he Conor McGregor level-esque? Well, apparently, according to Crawford, no, he's not. He's nowhere near the level of Conor McGregor. Let's be real. Stop it. Don't ever compare him to Conor McGregor. He went on to say, like I said, I don't even know this guy. I've never seen the guy fight. I watch a lot of MMA, and I mean, maybe I'm slipping. Maybe he's a good fighter. I don't know, but honestly, I've never seen this guy fight, and I've seen Conor McGregor fight a lot of times. It's night and day. Don't compare Conor McGregor and Ilia Topuria. That isn't a bad perspective, to be honest. Of course, Crawford had a big fight coming up. He's probably a casual MMA fan. He said he watches a lot of fights. To say that he's never heard of Ilia Topuria, if you watch fights, it's kind of crazy, but maybe he's just talking. The reality is, would these two compete in a boxing match? Well, I'm not going to sit here, first of all, and say that Ilia Topuria would beat Terence Crawford in a boxing match. But I will say this, it does pique my interest, and it is something that potentially we might see one day. Now, of course, Dana White was asked about this at the post-fight press conference, the possibility of Topuria and Crawford fighting in the ring, and he said,
I certainly hope not.
Probably in reference to Topuria getting smoked by Crawford, which is what everyone would say, okay? But would you want to see it? That's the real question. Of course, Floyd Mayweather was 49-0 at the time. Conor McGregor had never had a single boxing match. And I was able, if I remember rightly, to take him to the 9th round, and it made a tremendous amount of money. They both made in excess of $100 million. And the fans absolutely loved it. Those press conferences leading up to it, they were ridiculous. In Toronto, in London, in Las Vegas. I think there was one in New York as well. In Ireland. They were mental. They were absolutely crazy. The fans were just losing it. Right? The atmosphere was wild.
Carrying a school bag on stage. What are you doing with a school bag on stage? You can't even read.
And that's because Conor McGregor has always been one of the best trash talkers back then anyway. And one of the best people at just whipping the crowd into a frenzy, exuding confidence and just disrespecting the opponents, okay? And that's what he did to Mayweather. And it was pretty funny, you know. He was talking a lot of shit. And a lot of the time, Mayweather didn't know what to do, right? So would we want to see this? Is there a potential for this happening? Well, if Ilia Topuria continues to fight and he continues to win, and these two continue to talk shit, then maybe, I mean, come on, let's be honest. Jake Paul's fighting Gervonta Davis. If that can happen, or him fighting Mike Tyson, if there's a world that we live in where that can go down and get watched by millions of people on Netflix, then Topuria versus Crawford isn't too crazy when you think about it. Now, does Crawford need this? Absolutely not. I think his purse was somewhere around $50 million, what he got at the weekend. Of course, he's had a tremendous career. He's undefeated and he's 37 years old. He doesn't need to be chasing quote-unquote money fights that he doesn't even think is a money fight at all. He doesn't need that. And he probably wouldn't want to tarnish his legacy. Just like, and I'll use myself as an example, when Jake Paul offered me a fight a couple of years ago, I wasn't interested. I'd had a great career. I became the champion. I wasn't going to lower myself to fight Jake Paul. And that's probably what Crawford would be like. And of course, we're talking different parallels here. We're talking Terence Crawford, the best boxer of his generation, okay? And we're talking Ilia Topuria, one of the hottest properties in all of mixed martial arts. So you never know. You never know. Maybe it does happen. But let's be honest. If it was to happen, it would make a lot of money. You know why? Because there would be two fan bases tuning in. And that's what happened with the money fight. Okay, you've got all the boxing fans and then you've got all the MMA fans. And of course, you've got Dana White in the middle. Dana just did business with Terence Crawford. Ilia Topuria is under contract with the UFC. So it's not unbelievable to think of a world where this might happen. It's just, would they make this? Would Crawford lower himself? Would he want to do that? Would he want to step in the ring with somebody like that? You never know, because what else is there out there for him, right? Yes, I'm sure there's some other fights, and there's always the next guy on the block. There's always the next number one contender. But why not take on this little Spanish Georgian that's chatting all this shit? Apparently has the weight of the UFC behind him and millions of fans all over the world. And if it is that easy, why not just collect the payday? So the question I'm asking you is, if there was any potential talk of Ilia Topuria taking on Terence Crawford, would you be interested in seeing it? I would. I think I would. I really do. And I'd be very, very curious. Because Ilia Topuria has laid it out every single time. He's walked the walk and he's talked the talk. He's backed it up every single time. Of course, this would be, a stretch to imagine that he's going to go out and knock out Terence Crawford with the first contact that he makes, okay? That'd just be ridiculous. We don't live in a make-believe movie world, okay? This is the real world that we're living in, and Terence Crawford is one of the best boxers that ever lived, certainly this generation, as I said. But would you want to see it? That's about the gist of the video. I just think it's actually genius the way that Ilia Topuria seems to be beefing with everyone, okay? He doesn't mind. He talks shit at everyone, whether it's Cristiano Ronaldo or it's Terence Crawford that just won the biggest boxing fight of the year. Ilia Topuria's name is getting mentioned. And that, my friends, is a masterclass in PR. Anyway, let me know what you think about everything that I just said. Subscribe and ring the bell. And there'll be more videos coming this week, so be sure to swing by the channel. Take care. Bye-bye.